Wow, were you expecting that from the Chennai Super Kings? 202 is what they've put up after Kane Williamson put them in. 185 of those, courtesy the towering opening partnership from Ruturaj Gaikwad and Devin Conway. Gaikwad loves to bat in Pune. His only other significant score this season has been the 73 against the Gujarat Titans at this ground. And whether Hyderabad, the in-form Sunrisers Hyderabad bowling attack, has had 40 overs of humility when it comes to the IPL. Let's see how this score looks at half-time on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by IQ9 5G. Dan Vettori and Ben Cutting saw that exhibition of batting. That was fun if you're a CSK fan, if you're a fan of big shots. You know I am.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and probably we didn't give enough attention to that wicket looking a little bit different, and looked fantastic. It looked like it had some pace in it. All that grass had been removed, and that allowed Conway and in particular Gaikwad to just be exceptional. And maybe part of the selection of Conway was that he does play fast bowling well, and the four fast bowlers that have been so successful for Sunrisers, this was a way to counter them. But it was Gaikwad who just took down Umar Malik, and that was the highlight of the innings.
Yeah, I mean, let's go into that straight away then. I guess Umran Malik, with that big reputation behind him, it's been a big high and a big low today, Ben. But Ruturaj Gaikwad, what do you make of that sort of batting?
No, that was pretty special, to be fair. Obviously, he was pretty low in confidence heading into this game, so to put an innings like that under his belt is huge for the rest of the tournament, for Chennai and for their top order. But, you know, from where they were at the power play, I think they had none for 40 at the end of the first six. I didn't really think they were going to get where they were, but they just turned it on from there. The wicket looked beautiful, like Dan said. And, you know, that shot of the day for me was when Malik was steaming in, bowling as fast as he could, and he just got punched straight back over his head.
Yeah, let's just get your 2 bits on what makes Ruturaj Gaikwad's hitting stand out.
Well, it's almost under-hitting. I think he's one of the few guys who looks so comfortable against pace because of his ability to not overhit the ball. And Umar Malik, even when he dropped short, he looked in fantastic positions, and then once he got a read on him, it didn't look like the pace bothered him at all. And that's you can see that when he's able just to push forward and hit a six straight over his head. I mean, I thought we saw 2 great innings in KL Rahul and Deepak Hooda this afternoon, and now this has topped them, because this is an example of how batsmanship can be so effective in T20 batting, and Conway as well, but mainly Gaikwad is just good shot after good shot, identifying when he wanted to attack bowlers and still having the power to hit sixes.
Power, does that surprise you from the frame that you see from Ruturaj Gaikwad, that he's got this sort of power against high quality pace?
No, because it's just all timing with him, and because he looks fearless against pace. There's the occasional batsman even who opens or bats 3 who can just see a little bit on the back foot because of the pace of Malik, but he had his normal technique. There was nothing that fazed him, and once again his ability to get forward to that pace shows you that he's in complete control.
Yeah, I mean, we spent a large part of the early parts of the IPL, Ben, just wondering whether there is a technical deficiency for Ruturaj Gaikwad in the games in Mumbai, where the ball seemed to be moving. Umesh Yadav opened him up in one game. Another few swing bowlers tend to ask questions of him. Today seemed different. Was it down to the surface in Pune, where he's got 2 big scores now?
I think so, yeah. Look, the ball certainly didn't move around as much, even when it had the lacquer on it within the power play. It didn't look overly dangerous as it has done, you know, some of the other matches this year. So that's probably certainly contributed. The impressive thing for me from both the batters was how they invested their time. You know, Devon was probably a little bit slow at the start. I think it was 10 off 15 at the end of the power play, but they both pegged it back really nicely.
Just with the words that Dan's used and the type of batter, the type of power hitter he is, Ben, strike you as almost very Australian, kind of guy who do well in Australia?
I think so, yeah. Particularly the way, from looking on how that wicket played tonight, it was obviously a quick wicket, fast and bouncy, you know, with some bigger square boundaries, which is, you know, pretty similar to what we get over here in Australia.
Devin Conway, that's an innings if you ever wanted one in your first season with a franchise like CSK.
Yeah, and he took his time, but once he got himself in, he understood what he needed to do, and he supported Gaikwad, and in the end, he was probably on a par with him in terms of the innings, 85 off 55 balls, I think. And I think he was probably the recipient of Washington Sundar's injury, because to be the only I suppose, not blemish, but question mark around Devin Conway is his ability to play spin, and he's improved dramatically from where he was when he first played for New Zealand. But this would have been another test, the high-class off spinner. So not having to face him certainly helped, and he was able to deal with Markram quite easily.
Yeah, I mean, how big a moment was that, Ben, No Washington Sundar early in the innings. Aiden Markram having to cover up the overs.
Yeah, that was massive. So early in the innings when the guys were still young at the crease too. Disappointing for Washington. Hopefully he's back soon. It looked like the webbing.
Devon Conway, though, you see him as part of CSK's long-term future plans. This year they've had to play as many of the overseas bowlers as they possibly can. Did they miss a trick,
Yeah,
perhaps, by not sticking with Conway?
yes and no. You sort of don't know it until you can turn it on like that. But it's certainly going to make him a lock for the next couple of games at least. Particularly the way he played tonight. Sorry. The thing that really impressed me against how he played against the spinners, Markram. He swept, he used his feet, and he used his depth in the crease to access all parts.
Dan?
I think they're very similar players, Gaikwad and Conway, and because they're not, I suppose, big hitters or takedown games, it takes a while for franchises, even fans, to sort of fall in love with them. And they do it through volume of runs, and that's what Gaikwad did the last couple of seasons, through a volume of runs, and that's what Conway has done for New Zealand, because we expect the flashy six-hitting, top-of-the-order players, and when they don't come along, we don't probably give this type of player enough rope until they score the mountain of runs. So I think this is a starting point for this potential partnership for a long time for CSK.
Do you see an influence of, just in terms of selection, of MS Dhoni in this game, given they've gone back to the template that was successful for them, the overseas batter up top? I mean, you didn't think they needed to bring in a specialist batter. They could have just made like-for-like replacements from the Indian boys, if need be. And Dwayne Bravo could have been replaced by a fast bowler.
I think it was around Conway's ability to play fast bowling and the ability to counter Imran Malik and their other three seamers as well. So he has a big reputation, and it's well proven as well with his skill against the short ball. He takes it on. He's never feared it, and he's normally has a very high strike rate against that short ball. So I think that would have played a part in it. But ultimately, I'm sure Dhoni's fingerprints are all over this performance.
Yep, fair enough. Sunrisers, did they bowl badly? Could they bowl any better?
I'm thinking Bhuvanesh Kumar bowled exceptionally well. I thought he did a great job. I think the Washington Sundar really put them a little bit of disarray. I mean, Kane went 3 in a row from Aiden Markram, and I don't think he wanted to do that, but it was a case of, can I just get these overs out of the way? And to be fair to Imran Malik, he probably bowled pretty similar to as most days. He just came up against Gaikwad, who looked so comfortable. I mean, there's the very few batsmen we've seen would have hit that 6 straight back over his head.
I mean, funny enough, Ben, if you look at break down that innings, you already pointed out, power play score was 40 without loss. And in the last 5, they've got what, 11, 22, 30, 36, 49. That's 49 of the last 5 and 40 of the first 6. So the real power hitting uncharacteristically came through the middle. I wonder if they'd be saying we were looking good for 215. What would Hyderabad have made of this innings?
Look, I think obviously losing Washington, like we mentioned, was huge for them. It meant that they had to bowl the Markram the 3 on the trot, but by doing so, they had to bowl Natarajan 3 on the trot at the death, which is very hard to do as any bowler can. And then Jansen, I think, was 17 off his first 3 because he bowled 3 back-to-back in the power play. When he did come back through the later part of the overs, he ended up going for 21. So that's a lot of your runs right there between that 1 over from Jansen and the 3 from Markram.
All right. Chaseable, 202?
I think the surface lends itself to be chaseable, but how often does that actually happen? 200 is an incredibly difficult chase. I think CSK do have the bowling lineup, but what will be in the favour of CRH is Abhishek Sharma's form and the way that Aiden Markram played in the last game, plus Kane Williamson. This will be a surface that he'll love playing on.
Do you see Theekshana playing a part here? Because he's been big in all the wins that they've had, or the games that they've played, but looking at what we've seen of the surface?
I still think his ability in power play comes from the new ball and his ability to get skid off the surface, even swinging a little bit when he bowls that carom ball, seam up. So I think the surface helps him, but I don't think it's the be-all and end-all for a bowler of his type.
I mean, you'd think that their go-to bowler would be Dwayne Bravo. They're missing him, Ben. How much does that play in? Sunrisers, can they still chase this down?
Look, I don't think they will. I look down that order. The top 3 have really got to get the majority of the runs here. So if they do get Kane early, it could be tough to come back from there. In saying that, it is a surface that's going to suit Kane, and I am penciling him in for a 50 or a 60 here, but I still think they're going to fall short.
Okay, fine. Dan?
Yeah, 200 is a great score, and I think it'll be tough to chase down.
All right, let's see where Ben Cutting and Dan Vettori's predictions stand. Join us at the end of the game on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Good 95G.